the idea for George's Adventures, so that's a series of adventures about a boy called George and his friend Annie, and the way they travel around the universe going through a computer-generated portal. And they have all these adventures that allow you to find out more about real science. I had the idea when I heard some young children at my son's birthday party asking my father, who's the physicist Stephen Hawking, about science. They were asking him questions like, what would happen to me if I fell in a black hole? And the kids were so excited, and my father was so good at giving them clear, funny and informative answers that I thought, well, we should do this. We should write a series of adventure stories about a boy and his friend and the way they find out about the universe around themselves by getting to travel. Well, it was a little bit scary at first because he has so much knowledge, and at first I went to him with this idea and I said, listen, I think we should write these stories. This should be about a boy and about his friend, and about the way they have these experiences and these adventures, that they go out into the universe and they get to experience what's out there. And my father said, fine, but show me. Go away and write something and show me what this will look like. So I had to convince him that I was worthy of being his co-author. So there was a challenge there. And I like that because I like to think I earned the right to work with him. He was the most amazing co-author because he just holds all this knowledge. Inside his head is the most incredible library of knowledge, and he knows things without having to check, without having to look them up. And he had a lot of very exciting, very creative ideas. And for him it was a challenge because this was the first experience he'd ever had of trying to frame his ideas about the universe in terms of a dramatic storyline. So I think we both gained such a huge amount from the experience. It was a very unusual childhood. I think you can tell how unusual my childhood is that there is now a film called The Theory of Everything. Hollywood has made a movie about my parents, and I'm in it as a 6-year-old, so you can see a little bit of what my childhood was like. My father wasn't a well-known, he wasn't a famous person, not in the way he's so iconic, he's so well-known now. When I was growing up, he was very disabled, and it was very unusual at that time for a disabled man to have an independent life in the way that he did. He drove an automatic wheelchair around Cambridge extremely fast. He would have my brother and I with him, so these two little mop-headed children with white blonde hair running along beside him. And people would just stop and stare as though this was the most extraordinary thing they'd ever seen. People couldn't get over it, and they'd be like, who is that? Or who is that man, and what is he doing? So it was a very unusual, it was a very different childhood, but it was a very exciting childhood. It was we had all sorts of extraordinary experiences, a bit like George and Annie, to be honest, travelling around with our father. One of the most memorable moments I've had in writing books with my father, Stephen, was I read him a bit of a script for a new book, for the second book, some of the ideas I had, and I wrote a chapter which introduced a new character who was George's granny, who is very closely modelled on my father's mother. And I read this bit out to my father, and he burst out laughing. He laughed so much he actually fell out of his wheelchair, and I have never seen that happen before. I've never seen him burst into laughter so strongly that it was like his whole body lifted up and fell out of the chair, and his two medical assistants had to jump forward and catch him and put him back in his chair. So that for me stands out as one of the great moments. The other all the other things that have been amazing about writing these books have been the reaction of the young readers. There's been so much excitement, so much enthusiasm, so many questions, and so much warmth generated towards us, because we have tried to set out to explain science through storytelling to young readers. I don't know that anyone else has really done this, and we've received a lot of love and a lot of joy and a lot of excitement because of it.